snowmobiling goes way back to the 50s and 60s, and for people working on snowmobiles, we tend to think, what about parts for a 5 or a 10-year-old sled? But Kimpex, you can get parts for 20 and 30-year-old sleds.
You got it, Phil. We've basically offer a product offering right from the early days of snowmobiling to modern day stuff. And what we got here today is a couple of products that essentially, demonstrate what we can offer for those guys that are fixing up something much older.
And these are brand new products, so you don't have to go hunting through the wrecking yards or looking for stuff online or buying new old stock that may not have been a good part in the first place. These are brand new.
You got it. And in some cases, we've improved from the original product. So what you've got everything from headlights to windshields to recoils, that may not necessarily be a good part available anymore because some of them out there are 40 years old.
So this is a brand new recoil.
It is. It's a Bombardier recoil from early generation 70s type products, and it's, modern, ready to go.
So no more going through the wrecking yard and trying to take out seized bolts and getting a part home that the spring may not work or plastic parts are no longer working. This is actually a full brand new for your old sled.
That's right.
Part. And same as electronics, instead of buying a 40-year-old or 30-year-old CDI box, brand new CDI boxes.
We've got shocks and a variety of other pieces, bogey wheels, those type of things that are out there today available to fix up your old sled.
Well, that's really interesting because there's so many people getting into vintage. Anybody who follows vintage snowmobiles in the last few years, it's just exploded with how many people are getting involved. And the big question is, I've got this sled, it's a 1974, it's a 1978, where do I get parts for it? So now there's an option.
Kimpex has been an option for a long time.
Vintage is a big part of the sport today, and Jeremy, you've been there. You've been to the museum in Cochrane. You actually have an involvement with the old sleds.
Yes, I've been fortunate enough to be part of, many different vintage events over time, and it brings a camaraderie and a sense of where the sport began, and really kind of gets your blood flowing in something that's, you don't necessarily feel today on the modern and new snowmobiles. And, with museums like the one up in Cochrane, it definitely brings back that heritage of where snowmobiling began.
And describe what for you, when you see an old sled coming down the trail, or you see one on the lake or in the back of a truck on the highway, what do you think when you see somebody restoring an old sled?
Personally, for me, it gives me a lot of excitement. I believe that a snowmobile has a soul, and it needs to continue on and live to remember where we all began.
And it is something to sit there and see an old sled coming towards you, and as it goes past you on the lake, the sight, the sound, and of course, the smell.